faith cometh by hearing. You hear it until it's ringing. That means continuously. Amen. Let me read this. Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 10. Was where we read last week. Or verse 11. Let's read verse 11. Nehemiah. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. Then I arose in the night, I and a few men with me. I told no one what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem, nor was there any animal with me except the one on which I rode. I went out by night through the valley gates to the serpent well and to the refuse gate, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates which were burned with fire. Then I went to the fountain gate and to the king's pool, but there was no room for any animal under me to pass. So I went up in the night by the valley and viewed the wall. Then I turned back and entered by the valley gate, and so returned. This story, there's just a way I want us to look at it. Like I shared with us last week, this man made an assessment. And please follow me today. Please follow me. This man made an assessment of what was broken down, the walls of Jerusalem. In our lives, there are things that are always broken down. There are things that we do that we find that they are not of great value. There are things that we'll do that we find out that they were mistakes, or they are mistakes of our decisions. And so, each time when this happens, we've got to make an assessment of it. The reason why we should make an assessment is very simple, so that we don't make the same mistake. There is a proverb in the south, from the southwestern part of Nigeria, and that proverb says that when a young man is running and he falls down, he gets up and continues running. But when an older person or an elder is running, when he falls down, he looks back to what tripped him or what made him to fall. The reason is that he wants to make sure that, why did I fall? So I don't make the same mistake again. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Please follow me, I'm going somewhere today. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. It says this. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great cloud of witnesses. And of course, Hebrews 12 is a continuation of Hebrews 11. Hebrews 12 is a continuation of Hebrews 11. Because in Hebrews 11, they brought a whole lot of characters and individuals and people of the past, and they showed us the level of their faith. And one of the things I said to us last week is that we need faith for our vision to come to pass. Because every vision that God gives to us looks bigger than us. And we showed us a picture of the eagle trying to carry a whole ram that is about 10 times its size. Please follow me, I'm going somewhere this morning. I really feel like preaching. But this passage tells us something. It says, wherefore, seeing we are compassed about with so great cloud of witnesses, saying that we have all of these people they talked about in Hebrews 11, that these people, they are witnesses to our faith. They are witnesses saying that we can do it. If these people can can do it. That they are mere mortals like us. They are people like us. So, but he said one thing here. He says, let us lay aside every weight. Listen to what he says here. He says, let's lay aside every weight and the sin which does easily besets us. In actual fact, let me read, I think I like the way the New English Version puts this passage. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, we must get rid of every weight and the sin that clings so closely, that just tags along with our lives, and run with endurance the race set out for us. God. Listen to what he's saying there. Don't forget, I said Nehemiah made an assessment of the situation. He looked how bad it is, which is everybody must always make an assessment, an evaluation of their lives. It's important. But here, this passage now tells us that no matter the assessment of life that we make, we must understand that with faith we are able to get through. And so he's saying here, because if we look at Hebrews 11, he's saying we have all of these people, they are witnesses, they are examples for us, that it is possible for us, that no matter the assessment of the situation or how bad situation is, it is possible for us to overcome. Please follow me, I'm going somewhere today. He's saying that it's possible for us to overcome, no matter how bad the situation is, when we've made an assessment. So Nehemiah looked at everything, and he saw that the walls were broken down, and the gates has been burned with fire. It is possible for us to get depressed and say, this thing cannot be done. Many times we look at our lives, and we feel that we've messed up so much. Things are so bad, it is impossible for us to get back or to rebuild our lives, because it's not about the walls of Jerusalem, it's about our own lives. Please follow me. Now, this passage now says something here. It says that, but we are surrounded with witnesses that shows us that these people went through challenges, but they were able to pull through. That's what this passage is saying to us. He says, so now let us lay aside every weight. What does that mean? It means that if you look at sports people, especially those who run 100 meters and all of those things, now they wear what looks like as if they are not wearing anything, so that they can be so light, so that they can run very fast. So it tells us that when you have weight, it's going to affect your race. Are you following me? That is, whatever is the weight is going to affect it. Now, you've assessed situations of your life. There is definitely going to be weight that is going to cling, as that passage said in the English translation, that is going to attach itself to us. Because when you assess the thing, frustration shows up. Not only frustration shows up, the weight of where am I going to start from? The weight of envy. Because some people didn't have the same problem that you have. The weight of I'm too old to even where do I want to start from? The weight of I don't have money to do anything. The weight I don't have anybody to help me. I've been here for 38 years. The weight of different things for different individuals will always affect our lives. But here the Bible said something. It says that, and the sin which so easily ensnare her besets us or tags along. Of course, sin definitely means when we come short of God's expectation and his commandment. It means when we miss the mark. It means when we make mistakes. The one I want to use for us is the one that says when we make mistakes. Because in life, we make mistakes. And so these mistakes that we make, what it does is that it ensnares us, and the devil keeps telling us that you can't make it again. You can't do it. It reminds you and me of the mistakes and the past failures of our lives and tells us you can't do it. He tells you, you missed the mark. And you're still going to miss the mark. Unfortunately, as I'm still talking, you're still missing the mark. You're still making mistakes. You're still coming short of God's expectation. So he says, let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. This tells me, number one, everybody has a race that is set before them. And this tells me that the way our faces are different, our races are different. The weight of guilt is going to affect you. The weight of I can't make it is going to affect you. So he's saying to you, let us lay those things aside if we are going to run this race. So every one of us, we have a race that is set before us. The question is, are you ready for the race? Please follow me. Please follow me. Don't let me lose you. This also tells us something. When they say there's a race that is set before, that means there is a starting and there's an end. Because for every race, you know when you're going to start, it tells you there is an end to it. Let me bring this together. So it tells me that for every situation in our lives, we decide when we are going to start it. We decide the speed we are going to go. We not only do that, we decide when we are going to end it. Why do I say that? Because for anybody running 100 meters, 400 meters, and 10 kilometers, they cannot run at the same speed. Let me take that one again. Usain Bolt cannot run 10,000 meters the way he runs the 100 meters. He will be out of breath. So he tells me, you must know the race that you have been enlisted in, so you don't get out of breath. Because if you look at that one person and he runs so fast and he finishes, and you seem to be just getting off the starting block, it will affect you. It will affect your morale. It will look as if you don't know how to do it. But the good thing about this is run with endurance the race that is set before us. Run your own race. Because when you don't run your own race, the weight of the guilt, the weight of where you are, the weight I don't have this one, I don't have that one, will always slow you down. I like the word endurance. I say this all the time. Nobody endures pleasure. You only endure pain. So it tells you that in you moving forward, it's not going to be easy. But it says something, enjoy it. You know why? Because there is a starting and there is what? An ending. It's a race. A race is not for a whole life. It has its time of starting, it has a time of finishing. Of course, we could take it as the race of life, which doesn't end until you die. But for the purpose of what I'm saying, is there is a beginning and there is an end. And so we look at Nehemiah, making an assessment of the whole thing and say, where do I start from? What is the strategy That's what each and every one of us must look at our lives. Because you know why? Life in itself has no replay. You know, when they say you only live twice, that's Hollywood. You don't live twice. You only live once. After that, the Bible says what? Judgment. And so since life has no dress rehearsal, it is important that we make sure that we do it right. But since it's also a God of second chance, when we make mistakes, let's make sure that we don't keep making the same mistake. In Luke chapter 14, verse 28, it says that will a man build a tower without first sitting down and say, what is the cost? Let me tell you this, every time we say cost, we only think a lot of times in terms of dollar and cents. But there is a cost that is financial. There is a cost that is emotional. There's a cost that is psychological. And of course, there's a cost that is spiritual. So life generally is too short to continue to have regrets throughout your life. Especially regrets about your mistakes. And saying the walls are down. This whole thing, the doors have been burnt. I don't think I can do this. But I like the story of Nehemiah. Because after he made that assessment, and the assessment was not something that looked great, because he said there was a place where even the animal that he rode, he could not pass through. That means the place has been, the walls has fallen down so badly that there does not seem to be a passage, a pathway. But even then, he still believed that God who had called him is able to provide the resources. So he shared the vision and said, this is what the Lord had told me. Let us arise and build. Every one of us must do this in our lives. You don't have to speak to a whole congregation. Speak to yourself. Because if you don't need anybody, you need yourself. To be able to do one thing, to go on. That's why it's important for you to know who you are. You must be important to yourself. You get that one on Wednesday morning. You must be important to yourself. If nobody celebrates you, please celebrate yourself. Because let me tell you this, if you're waiting for people to celebrate you, you're going to wait for a very long time. But celebrate yourself. You know, I'm trying to let us know that it doesn't matter. And that one of the reasons, and I've said this several times, why I like the story of Nehemiah, is that he was a cupbearer. And God used him. He gives you and me hope that God can use every one of us. It gives us hope that if we believe in what God has said to us, when we speak, people will honor that which we have said. But if you are not important to yourself, you don't even have the confidence to speak. After he spoke, the people said, we will do this. But could have said, who am I? So be important to yourself. Don't say, who am I? You are somebody that Christ died for. You are important to him. And I like this statement that says that if you are the only one who have sinned, he will still have died for you. You must be important to yourself. And I'm telling you, you must be. You are important to God. If you are not important to God, he would not have sent his only begotten Son to die for you. So while we're yet sinners, Christ died for us. So you must settle in your heart how you want to exist in this world. You must settle in your heart. How do you want to exist in this world? Do you want to exist in this world in a low life? Or do you want to exist in this world in the higher level and soar as an eagle? That decision, trust me, will be made by you. Because even if you are offered on the platter of gold, you say, I'm not worthy. No, maybe they don't know me. No, they might not know you, but heaven knows you. That's what is most important. You are the one who is going to decide how you want to exist in this world. So it doesn't matter what your husband says about you, how much your husband puts you down. If you know you are somebody, you will be like Jack in the box. If you press it down, it comes up, back. It cannot be pressed down. You take your hands up, it comes out. No matter what your wife says about you, how useless you are, you must be Jack in the box. He presses you down, you bounce back. He presses you down, you bounce back. You must decide how you want to exist in this world, brothers and sisters. You must decide that. You must say, this is how I'm going to live this world. This is how I'm going to live. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what they say. This is how I'm going to live. Why? Because I am a child of God. The greater one dwells inside of me. This is how I'm going to live. You must decide how you will. Regrets are meant to teach us. But things will always happen that we cannot control. There are things that has happened to you that you couldn't control. But now you know better. That's why you made the assessment. When you made the assessment is to say, not again. Not again. It's a fool that looks at himself in the mirror and sees things that are not right and walks away without making a change. When you look at yourself in the mirror, if you suddenly find out that instead of putting lipstick on your lips, you put it on your eyebrow, you will not walk out of that place in that way. You will make adjustments. How come I did that? What was I thinking about? You will put it away. You don't say it like that. Say, I'm going to go out today like a caricature. It doesn't matter. No. You will make adjustments. It's important. We've got to take actions on who we really are. And it's one of the best ways in avoiding regrets. It's one of the best ways in avoiding regrets. Don't live the whole life and put the finger of regrets in your mouth. You can make adjustments. You can. It's your decision. The greater one dwells inside of you. Every one of us have made dumb mistakes. But we cannot continue to have a pity party on the dumb mistakes that we have made. We agree that the walls are down, but it's time to rebuild. It's time for us to rebuild. It doesn't matter where you've been. It matters where you are going. Like I always say, you can't help where you have been, but you can help where you are going. You can help the things that have happened. They've happened. But you can help where you are going. It's important that you know who you are. And, knowing who you are is not arrogance. It's not arrogance. There's a self-confidence. Looks like arrogance. But they are two different things. They might look similar at times, but no. It's just a matter of knowing who you are. In believing in yourself. And this is not positive thinking. You are believing in yourself because you know that the greater one dwells inside of you. I can do all things through Christ who has strengthened me, who has given me energy, who has given me wisdom, who has strengthened me in the area of my physical, in the area of my spiritual, in my brain, is the one who has strengthened my life. Hence, I can do what I am doing. Hence, I can do it. The greater one who dwells in me, I can do all things. It strengthens me. Not strength as in power, but strength in the mind, strength in your health, strength spiritually. So whatever you do, you know that, you know what? I have the greater one inside of me. I've told you the story. It's interesting that the Jews said it over this week also to us in Houston. Just a story of where he challenged people. He challenged, he said he spoke in a place, and most of the people who were there were voodoo people. And he knew they were voodoo people. And then after he finished preaching, he challenged that any of you who think you have power, come and face me. He said, those people, then he made the altar call. So a lot of those people, those voodoo people, they came out for altar call. And the guy who invited them said, do you understand what he said? They said, yes, we understand. But if a young man like this is speaking, you should know that there is something that is depending upon, that is behind him. That's why he's saying what he's saying. And this is what happens to us when you have a bigger brother. Then you challenge the people. Because he says, I have my brother. Your brother is behind you. You say, well, slap the boy. Then you go and slap the boy. He said, you slapped me? He said, yes, I slapped you. But when you see the person who is behind him, say, all right, that's why I'll catch you. But you know what? It's important. We must realize that we do not have years to recover our setbacks. We don't have years. Don't you say, I had this situation 10 years ago. My God, you have 70. That's what God has given you. You are using 10 years to prepare for madness. They said, how many years now do you want to be mad? Somebody says, I want to be mad though. They say, you want to be mad? You say, yes, I'm preparing. You use 20 years in preparation for madness. How many years are you going to use for madness? It's a Yoruba proverb. But anyway, trust me, I have a whole lot to say. I'm not even halfway. It's important that we realize that we don't have years to recover our setback. We must recover now. Stop pitying yourself and stop talking about it so that people can pity you. Why don't you have a testimony of the goodness of the Lord? I was down, now I am up. I was in ashes, can't you see the glory now? We must have testimony of ourselves. Not the long pity party. Yes, it has happened, so what? Get on with life. Get on with life. Nehemiah said, this is what the Lord has told me to come and do. This is the situation. He picked up the burden from the first day that he had it. The same way you must pick up the burden of a rebuilding of your life once you see the mistakes you have made. He picked up the burden. He didn't say, all right, well, let's see. No. He didn't say that. He said immediately. He picked up the burden. The burden consumed him until he came to Jerusalem and rebuilt it in 52 days, what has been broken down for years. Why? Because God spoke to him. It didn't take him a lifetime. He don't have a lifetime to recover from setbacks. Economic setback, emotional setback, spiritual setback, whatever is the setback that you have had, it doesn't matter. This might have resulted because of bad decision. Yeah, bad decision, we make bad decisions. But yet, what do? We move on. Somebody walked out of your life. I've been there. It took me time, I have to be truthful, to recover from a broken heart, but I moved on after some time. What will I go and do? And I moved on, especially when I started seeing the girl with another boy. That's when I woke up. That, you know what? Wake up and smell the coffee. What are you still doing? You better get into town yourself. But anyway, that's not for today. You've got to. Economically, maybe you had a bad investment. It was a bad investment. It went bad. That's what you had all the plans, but it went bad. So, where do we go from here? It went bad. That's not what you planned. Spiritually, maybe you are deceived by a church or a pastor. And so you are heartbroken. The people you look up to, they broke your heart. So you say, because of that, I'm not going to go to church again. No, life is more than that person. Don't let somebody's mistake stop you from going to heaven or stop your relationship with God. Men are prone to make mistakes. Anybody born of a woman has their shortfall. The reason why you feel they don't is because you are not close to them. When you are close to them, you will see their shortfall. Born of a woman, if you are flesh, you're going to make mistake. You're going to come short of the glory of God. It's part of life. It's part of living. Many want to change their minds after making important decisions. nowadays. That's why, of course, my time is up. I'm not even one thought. I'm telling you, the people who have my notes know what I'm saying. Maybe I should, it's important that we look at Nehemiah. What he wanted to do, he made an assessment. He looked at it very well. He said that I didn't tell anybody anything. Why? Because I didn't want to hear any other view. I wanted to see how God is going to lead me to look at this whole thing. What God is going to tell me on how to fix this thing. But the truth of the matter is that many of us don't have that level of relationship with the Lord. So what do? He has given you wisdom and knowledge for you to be able to make an assessment of whatever major decision that you want to get into. All right, maybe I should say this one. I need to clear my throat. One of the greatest decisions, at least one of the top 3 decisions that anybody will make in their life is the decision of who to marry. It's one of the topmost decisions. And the reason is that you are going to be tied to this person for the rest of your adult life. And so it's important that you take. Maybe this one is for Ignite people because most of you here are already married. You are stuck already, so wherever you are now, you're going to. Maybe we should tell the Ignite service people that one. Because you want to hear it? Oh, all right. This is what they call aproko. This one, you just want to. It's one of the greatest decisions you're going to take. And it is so important that you don't have a buyer's remorse. Because it is not good to return the goods when you get married. It's not good to return the goods. It's called divorce. That's not what God wants. It's not God's best. But it will happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing anybody who is divorced. You understand? That's your own personal decision. It is, a buyer's remorse is not something good. When you've bought something and you say, oh my God, what was I thinking? What's wrong with me? What was I thinking? Who has bewitched me? You're the one who says you want to hear, I didn't want to say anything again. When you buy a car, they say you bought a lemon. And why do they say it's a lemon? Because lemon is bitter and sour into the mouth. Many people, their spouses is lemon because it's sour in their mouth. But now they can't do anything. You are stuck. And you are between the deep blue sea and the hard place, or the devil and the hard place. Because now you can't go and hand over that spouse to the parents. I said, I don't want again. Can you replace? Can you replace? They say we have no replacement. I said, but all right, I give it to you. Whether you want, you have replacement or not. Because you can buy a car and the lemon you can return it, but this one you can't. That's why it's important that you do one thing. You do your research well. I know that believers don't like the word dating. They say Christians don't date. But it's because we say that because we don't understand what it means. There's nothing wrong in dating. Dating, like I've said, is from the word data. The time of dating is collecting data. If you collect enough data and you do enough research, you will not end up with lemon when you thought you took an apple. You will have known what the color of the apple is, and you will have known the shape of the lemon. But guess what? We never collect data. What we do is we sleep with ourselves. So when we sleep with ourselves, because the sex is good, now you are stuck with it because it's now not good again. It has become sour. It's collecting data. But you don't collect data. You don't know what are your likes. What do you like? What don't you like? How many children are we going to have? What kind of sickness do you have? Or like I listened to somebody the other day, and it was Creflo. He says, we've got to ask yourself, what is your friendship with water? Do you like to have bath every day or not? What do you like? You understand? We've got to have this idea. Do you like to wash your mouth every day? Do you like washing soap? Do you like soap, or you have an affinity? You don't have an affinity towards soap. These are the things you want to learn during dating. Data collection. Oh God, I said I didn't want to go here. You are the one who says I should go because it's a little bit too late for you anyway. You've got to do research, gather information, collect data. If you have to go to internet, one of our sisters told me something very interesting. He said there's this guy who's trying to date her. He just noticed that the guy always calls during the week, and at weekend, one reason or the other why he doesn't call. He said, I paid $20. I went to a website. I didn't even know that website. I put his name in there. He showed me he was happily married. He said, now I know why you don't call me at weekends. You call me when you're at work. You call me when you're after work. We can go out after work. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to tell my wife I went somewhere. You ask questions. This is the most important first step that you have to. This is the most important first step. When a guy says you ask too many questions, you should be careful. You know why? Why wouldn't I ask these questions? I'm going to live the rest of my life with you. What I don't know now, I'm going to know it later. It's better for me to know it now so I can make up my mind. What is it? What are you hiding? Some people are dating people and then you ask them, where is it from? I've not asked so. What have you asked? You don't know the degree, you don't know the school, you don't know the things that is going on, you don't know the family background, you don't know anything, you don't know any of those things. You don't know whether they have mental issues in their house, and you're wondering why he's behaving like a mental something. His brother was like that. His father was like that. We are wondering where he got his DNA. DNA is part of the blood. A fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. Oh my God. They say my time is up. I've not even gone to where I wanted to get to. I'm serious. And, we are going into Biazo. All right. Let me give me 5. You've got to be able to ask, how old really are you? Where's your birth certificate? Not the one on your license, your birth certificate. Your real birth certificate. Where did you get that name Ghandi from? Because it doesn't look, you say you're from Ogbomoso. That's not an Ogbomoso name. How did you get that name? I'm serious. You just are the things you collect. Data. That's what you collect during dating. That's where you do the research. Google the guy's name. Google has helped us. Put his name there. If his name is not on Google, how come you are not on Google? What's going on? You are not on Facebook. You are not on Instagram. You are not on any social media. You keep saying that you don't like social media. Are you hiding something? Everywhere. No, you have no friends. All the friends you have are 5 years ago. How about the people who grew up with you? The guys you went to high school with, where are they? Ah? Did you go to school alone? Were you homeschooled? How come you don't have any of those people? You've got to ask. Let me just end with this marriage issue. I wanted to go. There's some marriage I wanted to talk about before because I thought I was preaching only to you. And most of you are married already, so it's a little bit late. But you've got to ask yourself, what are the possessions that you have? What do you have? What are the things you have? Yeah, exactly. What are the loans? How much are you owing on credit card? What's your credit score? Because that shows me how you spend money. It gives me an idea of your pursuits for the future. The Bible says, can two walk together unless they agree? What's your faith? How do you see God? What's your spirituality like? What do you see God? Do you get angry with God and because of that you stop going to church? Do you rather watch a football match than going to church? What are the things you want? They say don't get to the neck of the palm tree and be saying that your name is Falon Shaw. No. Don't even climb it. Don't even say that God is my protector. You understand? When you've gotten to the top of the palm tree. Don't say God is my protector. What's your idea about sexuality? What is a fulfilling sex life for you? What positions do you like? Do you like variety? Or, oh yes, these are the things you ask. There is nothing wrong. You ask, what do you like? Missionary or anyone? I don't know why you're laughing, though, because you do all of these things. So what are you laughing? What is your idea? Frequently or every day? What is your vitality? What secrets do you keep? Can you trust me to keep those secrets for you? How many children do you plan to have? What does discipline, what does it look like to you? What roles should husband and wife, what roles should they play? How do you handle disagreements and disappointments? What's your vision for your family for the next 20 years? How satisfied are you with your present career? What is your motive for buying this car? Is it a need or pride? Are you showing off? Now you've put all of these bills on yourself because you are showing off. Be yourself. Nobody can take that one away from you. Oh my God. All right. Maybe after Beazo, we will talk. Father, Lord, we thank you. The time is gone. Give you all of the glory. Lord, we've put the skeleton, had the flesh to it in their hearts. Let them look at their careers, even through this, Lord. Let them look at their whole life, even through this marriage thing that we have said. That when they want to change their career, do they have enough data on it? Do they have enough data on their spiritual life to see how they can make sure that they do this? It's important that, Lord, as we have said, that if they are running a race, they have to do away with all weights. Lord, these are weights that they have to consider before they start the race. Because these weights, they slow life down. I pray, Heavenly Father, that you will give an understanding to all of us. The different weights that we carry. We will do enough data collection and enough research, and we will be led by your Spirit to leave all of these weights behind so that we can run the race that is ahead of us. Thank you, Heavenly Father. We'll give you all of the glory. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.